Senior from Ocean City High School, Keani Hindle. Good morning, Keani.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Thanks for getting up early and spending a few minutes with us.
I'm getting ready for practice anyway.
All right.
No worries.
Man, Coach Bruno's a slave driver. Practice this early in the morning?
Well, we're all ready for it, so we all love getting it done early.
Nice. So tell me about your senior year so far. You guys are off to a pretty good start, kind of hanging in there in the Cape Atlantic League America Conference, and you're having a heck of a season, a bunch of home runs and doubles, and seems like, at least personally, things have really come together for you this year.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely been a good year for all of us. I mean, we're all working really hard, and you can see it in the girls. We're all just doing really well. We're just meshing together, you know?
How great is that as a senior to be on a competitive team and really having a lot of fun out there? And yeah, I mean, that's what every high school kid wants as a senior, is to really have a solid senior season and go out on a high note.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've been on teams where, you know, we would take 3 losses in a row and you just see everyone hanging their heads, and it's just, those games aren't really fun. But when you have these kind of games where we're playing hard and we're, you know, coming up and winning against those teams, that's the fun games. Those are great.
Now, before we get into some of your injury past and some of those kind of things, I want to talk real quick about your teammate, Jackie Nessie, man. She's a heck of a hitter.
Oh, she's coming up big. I'm so proud of her. She's doing awesome.
Must be nice to hit in front of her, because you know you're going to get some pitches to hit. The pitchers don't want to face her too often.
Oh, yeah. If I know that I don't come up big, I know Jackie's right behind me. I'm so happy she's behind me. She's been doing so well. I'm really proud of her.
And some of those other girls, you know, Brooke Segich has been playing great at third base. You know, you've got Angel back there catching. So you really have a nice squad that's come up together the last couple of years. And talk about this team a little bit and where you guys are at, and you know what you're hoping for the next couple of weeks.
You know, with this team, I'm just happy to see that everyone's giving 100%, and that's all you can really ask for as a senior. And that's, I think, why everything's coming together so well, is because everyone's just working really hard to do their best. And you can see it. I mean, I'm standing at the practice field right now, and Angel's practicing with her dad before our practice starts. And as far as the season goes, my hope is just to keep on doing what we're doing, keep winning, hopefully get a winning record, maybe make it to the Cal. Every senior softball girl's hope.
Yep.
So.
Now, are you famous now that you've had a feature story done about you in Glory Days magazine?
I wouldn't say famous, but
What? Come on now.
No, I mean, I had one teacher come up to me and hand me the paper with a sticky note on it and a smiley face, so I guess I'm as close to famous as I am.
There you go. We're talking with Keani Hindle. She's a senior over at Ocean City High School, outstanding softball player. Keani, the reason I wanted to bring you on today was to talk about your comeback from a couple of serious knee injuries. There's been a lot of talk in the NFL draft about guys getting drafted with injuries, and I know you've had 2 ACLs. So give us a little bit of background on that and how you've come back strong from those injuries.
Okay, well, I guess I should start in 7th grade. That was the first one. I was playing soccer at the time, and I went to turn on the field and it just went in. My knee collapsed, my left knee, and I got back up and started running again, and because as a kid, you know, you don't know what's going on in your body. So when it collapsed and I just fell, I thought, hey, something's not right, but I think I'm okay, because it was one quick pain and then it was fine. But then I got up, started running, and it just kept giving out on me, and I knew something was wrong. So we went to the doctor, got an MRI done, and then wasn't the best news to hear that my ACL was torn. So that was a surgery and a long 9 months.
Now, at that point, you're what, 12, 13 years old?
I believe at that time I was 13.
Did you even know what an ACL was at that point? I mean, I'm sure at that age you really have no idea what's going on with your knee, right?
Nope, I had no idea. Because when I heard the news from the doctor, the only thing that registered was his face and how it was not happy. So he ended up explaining, you know, what the ACL is, where it is in the knee, what it does, and then he started to tell me what I needed to do for it. And it was at that point I just kind of zoned out and recognized the fact that I was going to be out of sports for 9 to 12 months.
What does that do mentally? That's got to be so tough. The first couple of months where you're not really moving around too well, and I'm sure there's a lot of swelling and all that kind of stuff going on, and probably the first time in your life you were ever injured. How did you handle that mentally to kind of get over that hump of feeling down on yourself and feeling like you're never going to be able to run again? I'm sure it feels that way for at least a couple of months, right?
Mm-hmm. See, believe it or not, it was the first one that actually mentally was better than the second one. Because the first one, I saw this as, okay, it's a setback, you're fine. You're just going to keep working hard. You're going to, do your exercises, and then you're going to get back as soon as possible. So, the first one, I was more optimistic, more positive. And mentally, it was tough because, you're watching your friends run around, you're watching them practice, you're watching them succeed, and you're watching them just have fun. And you sitting on the bench and seeing all this happen without you is a little tough, especially as a 13-year-old who really just wants to be included,
Now, a couple years later, as a sophomore in high school, you blow out the ACL on the right knee. Take us through that. Yeah. You're halfway through your high school career. You're having big dreams of really making an impact on the varsity, and all of a sudden, bam, you're out again for another 9 months.
Yeah, so what happened there was I played freshman field hockey my freshman year. And, as the year went on, freshman year, I just kind of decided, I kind of miss soccer. I want to go back. Because I had stopped soccer because of the knee injury in my left knee. So then I went to, I think it was EHG's field, and I went to jump, and when I landed, it just collapsed on me, my right knee. So that one was crushing because I knew what happened the minute it happened.
Right.
And when we went for the MRI, that one said that I had a clear ACL tear, like a complete ACL tear, slight meniscus, and a sprain of the LCL. So it was actually a little bit worse than my first one. But that one was just tough because you go through it once, and you're like, all right, I'm tougher than this. I could beat this. But then when it happens again, it's like, why? Why does this happen to me? But it's just one of those mental things again where you just have to work through it. And as I said before, probably the most crushing thing was that I was going to be missing softball with my sister, who was going to graduate that year.
Right.
And that was probably the most upsetting thing in my head, besides the fact that I had to go through everything again.
Now, when you went through all that rehab again the second time, what was tougher, the first month or two after the injury, or when you're getting towards 8 and 9 months when you're almost ready to come back, but you're not really? You're still a month, 6 weeks away. How frustrating does that get when you're 4 to 6 weeks away and you're sick of doing rehab and you're like, man, I just wish I was better already?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would say the 6-month mark was probably my hardest because that's when I had to keep up with all of my exercises that I had to do at home. I had to keep going to rehab twice a week, and I just wanted to go do things because at 6 months I was allowed to run, which most athletes for ACL injuries, a lot of them, it's 6 to 9 months. Mine was 9 to 12 because of top protocol where I got it done.
Right.
So at 6 months they had you to start running. You could bike. You could start moving side to side. And at that point, it's like, all right, well, I'm doing this. Can I go back now?
Right. Yeah, you want to jump right back into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel now? I mean, it's got to be great being completely healthy now as a senior, and you're doing everything you want to be able to do on a softball field, and that's got to be a great feeling to know you're making an impact in your final season.
Oh, for sure. I'm so happy with how the season's going. And as far as the knees go, I still have my reservations. There are times when I think, all right, make sure you warm up completely. I have a separate warm-up that I do. Sometimes Brooke and Taylor, they join me. But I do that just to kind of ease the nerves a little bit. Because there are times in my head where I think, there's a chance that you could get hurt. It's a possibility of happening again. But then I just kind of have to forget that, let it go, and just keep playing.
Good stuff, Keani. We got to let you go. We're up against the break, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes and taking us through that rehab process. And we're glad you're healthy and having a great season down there at Ocean City.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right, have a great weekend. Thanks.
You too.
That was Keani Hindle, outstanding senior for Ocean City softball team.